Okay, so at the end of the last episode, we were able to increase the size of the maps like this. We could add new floors, or levels as I like to call them, like this. And then if we wanted to press up and down to change the current level, we always see all of the levels, which makes it hard to edit. So we're going to add something now which allows us to either display only the level, or the current level, sorry, display only the current level, or display all the levels up to and including the current level. So you can see, things in perspective, and I think it will make editing a lot easier. So let's get on with that first. If we go into the create event of the controller, map editor, sorry, map editor object, and then this one here, show all levels equals true. Just add this into the create event of the map editor. And then if we go into the step, we are going to have a new region. Just minimize this stuff. So here, underneath change or increase level, I have a new region called change show all levels. And then all we're doing is if we press tab, we're just switching or toggling show all levels from true to false and back again. Basically, if it's true and you press tab, it goes to false. And if it's false and you press tab, it goes back to true. So it's a good way to toggle variables that way. In the draw event, we have a couple of things to do. So we have a new region at the top, which is called set what levels we want to see. End level is always going to be current level. That's as high as we want to see. If show all levels is true, then we're going to say the start level is 0, so from the bottom of the map. Otherwise, if it's false, we're only going to display the current level, and that's it. And then to implement that, this was our old first line of the for loop. This is the new one. So for var levels equals start level, which is going to be 0 or current level. Levels is less than or equal to, as opposed to just less than. So levels is less than or equal to end level, then levels plus plus. And one more thing, just so we can see the value of current level. In the draw GUI, we're going to add this line. I've spread it out onto 2, so I can zoom in on it for you. So we're drawing text in the middle of the screen, horizontally, sorry, 20 pixels down from the top, and displaying the value of current level. So if we run the game now, we should have this effect where we can add floors like that. Oops. Let's add another floor. Actually, let's change the biome. And let's change the floor value. So if I go down, change that one, and go back up, I want a roof. That'll do. Alright, cool. So you can see we have like a floor, a middle, and a roof. And right now, show all maps, show all floors is true. So if I press down, I'll see up to and including the current level. Down again. But if I go to the very top and press tab, we can only now see the top. If I press down, we only see the middle. Press down again, only see the bottom. If I go back up to the middle, press tab, you can see the bottom 2, and then go up one more, and we can see all of it like this. So this is what you should have now. This should make editing your maps a lot easier now as well. Okay, so I was hoping to be able to show you guys a battlescape, which is a load of these different maps stitched together, because that's what we're aiming to do. That's what all this work is going into. However, in the process of coding, adding existing code, I think today we're just going to be implementing all of the saving, loading, creating new and deleting maps, and then next episode we can just dive into the battlescape straight away. Otherwise it's going to go from a fairly long episode to an extremely long one, I would imagine. So anyway, you can see we've got all these scripts going on there. No, sorry, these ones. These are the new scripts. We have 5 new scripts, and they're all for saving, loading maps, that kind of stuff. The first thing we want to do actually though is in the create event of the map editor. So we have a new variable called current map number, and we are going to, I'll show you, I'll explain this in a minute. Okay, so let's just create this, and then further down, let's minimize this. Okay, so we have a new region at the bottom called setup saving loading, and inside here we have a new list called global all biome maps, and what it's going to do, it's just going to be a list that holds lists. This means that whenever you want to have new biomes, you can just, add a new enumerator to eBiomes, and this should, all this code we do should still work for that. So for every biome we're going to have a list, which is what this is going to do. And then we're going to add these lists to our global list, and then any maps we create for a particular biome go inside the biome map list, like that. Yeah, so that's, and current map number, the variable we just created, is going to track which entry in one of these 3 lists we're in. We have 3 lists because we have 3 biomes. If you have 10 biomes, you have 10 lists, just to make that clear. All right, cool. So we have a list of lists and a new variable. So the next thing we are going to do is go into the step event. Let me just minimize as much as we can. So basically there's 2 things we need to do. We need to update the change biome region so that when we go into a new biome, we try and load the first map for that biome if there's an existing one. Otherwise we just create a brand new one fresh. But I think it would make more sense to actually do this region at the bottom first, make the brand new region, do all the save, load, new scripts, and then just update change biome afterwards. So hopefully I don't forget to do this. Anyway, let's open this new region. We have 4 regions inside this one. We're going to do save the map first. Basically, if we press F5, we're going to run a new script called scr_save_map, which we're going to make after we do this line. We're going to pass to its current biome, the current map number, which should be 0 to start with, and current map list, which holds our grids for the current map. Okay, so if you make this script now called scr_save_map, and let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so at the very top we have save map, current biome, current map number, list of grids. We're going to need a temporary list of grids, and a temporary grid. What they're going to be doing, what we're going to be doing in this script is basically, as you hopefully know by now, every floor of our maps is a grid, and every cell of that grid is a list, and we're going to be converting each of those lists into a string, saving those strings into the temporary grid, converting, and once all those cells are done, converting that temporary grid into another string, saving that string into the list of grids temporary data structure, this one, and then temporary grid's going to get overwritten by every floor, but that's fine because we're just going to be converting it into a string every time. And then once we have done every floor, we're going to convert the temporary list of grids into another string, and save that into our new global dots or biome maps. So it may not make sense right now, but hopefully it will do as we get further into the script. So anyway, that's what these two variables are for. We want to get the width and height of the very first floor grid, because all the grids are the same and we're guaranteed for there to be one at the bottom. So that's what this is going to be doing. We want to resize our temporary grid to match the bottom floor grid of our map. This text is just explaining what I just said. You can read it again if you want, but I'm just going to skip ahead for now. So anyway, for as many floors as we have in our grid, get the floor grid like I said. So get the floor grid, convert all the lists in that grid into strings like I was saying. So grab the list, convert that list into a string using DSList write, and save that string into the temporary grid like this. So this is going to happen for every cell in our floor grid. Remember though, the lists in that floor grid is still going to be the same. We're not changing them at all. We're just converting them into a string and storing that string into another grid. So the map we're saving is still going to be the same as before, basically. So anyway, we now have a temporary grid with lots of strings inside it, and we're going to convert that temporary grid into another string and add that string into our list of grids temporary data structure, like I said. And once all of this has been done, we're going to end up with, well, it depends on how many floors. If we have 5 floors, we'll have 5 floor grid strings saved into our temporary list of grid string. So once all that's done, we're going to end up with, well, we're going to have a list of strings, and we're going to convert that list of strings into one big string. That's what this line does. And then let me just move this onto another line to make it okay. So, and then we're going to save that one big string into our list for that biome. So this is our list that holds the 3 biome lists. This is our biome list for the current biome, and this is the entry where we're going to save this big string. And that's it. We're going to just have some debug messages. You don't have to have this stuff if you don't want. This just says displaying the map string. This is going to show you one big string in the output, and then we're just going to have a pop-up message to say the map saved, and that's it. So what we could do now actually is, if we run the game, I think we can test this. At least we can test it pressing F5. So if it doesn't really matter what you do, because we're not going to be able to load the map yet. So I'm just going to press F5. We get a pop-up saying the map saved, and this huge string, this is our list. This basically is a grid that has all of its lists converted into strings, and then that grid's converted into a string and added to another list, which is then converted into another string, and this is what we end up with. So this is all our map data basically. Okie doke, so now we can continue in the step event. So that's one region. Next region is load the map. So yeah, let's do this one first. No, let's do this one last. Let me check something. Okay, yeah, so we'd better do load map first then. Okay, so in this region, we're basically checking if we're pressing 0 or P. Every time we press 0 or P, we're going to set the current level to 0, and we are going to run a script called find the next map. Let me just put this onto another line. Still too big. Oh well. So can I just do this as well? Hopefully this isn't too confusing for you. Just wait to try and get as much on the same screen as I can. Okay, so there we go. So this is the whole region. don't need this. Okay, there we go. So it's all on the same screen now. So if we press 0 or P, we're going to be loading, or sorry, looking for a map. If there's no map, then we're not going to change anything. Okay, so and we're going to return current map number from this script, because if we do find a map, we want to update the current map number. But if there's no maps for the biome and this should equal 0, it should still equal 0 afterwards. So that's what this script is going to take care of. And we're going to pass to this script the map number, the current biome, the increment, so whether it's going to be 1 or -1, and then the current map list. And the way this script is going to work is basically just go through all the maps for that biome until it finds the next one, basically. So let's make that script now. SCR find next map. I think that's zoomed in. So top line, SCR find next map, pass it then map number, biome, increment, list of grids. Counter is our current map number. We're adding or subtracting 1 from map number, and then we want to find the total number of maps for the biome. We also need to make H a minimum of 1 for our code to work. I'll explain that as we do the code, but basically all we're trying to do is see if there's actually a map we can change to, and if there's not, then nothing should change basically. So while counter is not equal to map number, because when it is, then it means there isn't a map to load basically. So anyway, while it's not equal to map number, make sure that we are within the bounds that we want to be. So if counter is less than 0, counter equals H minus 1. This is why we need H to be 1, because if it was 0, then this would be -1, which we don't want. If counter is greater than or equal to H, then set it to 0. It's basically just a loop. If counter ever equals map number, then break. It means there's no new map to load. Whether we press O or P, it means there's no new map to load. However, if counter is less, if this isn't true, and this is true, if counter is less than the size of the biome list for those maps, then we're going to run a new script, SCR load map, which we'll do in a minute. But for now, type this line out. So we're going to pass it the biome, the counter, and list of grids. Remember, counter is just the current map number. List of grids is the current map list. I just thought that these names would be more self-explanatory. Maybe that's confusing, sorry, but basically this is current map number. This is the current map list. And then, so if this is true, break out of it. Otherwise, if none of these are true, then we're just going to increase counter. And then at the end of the script, we're going to return counter because we're setting current map number to it, like that. Okay, so now we've done that script, we're going to do SCR load map, this one. So let's go into this one now. Okay, so again, passing it biome, current map number, list of grids. We're going to get the big string for the map we want to load. Basically this one, we're grabbing this string from the biome list. If there is no map, it's going to return undefined. Okay, and then if it's undefined, then all we're going to do is just show a message. Nothing's going to happen. We're just going to show a message to say we can't find that map. I don't think we should ever have that happen, but you know, if we do, we're just protecting ourselves anyway. So however, if it is not undefined, then hopefully we do have a map to load. and we need to do something with our existing current map list, because we have a grid, we have lists inside that grid. We don't want to forget about them. One way to do it would be to use the existing grids and lists, destroy the ones that we don't need in case that's in case the existing map is bigger or higher, or if it's smaller or lower, add new ones. But I thought the simplest way is just to destroy everything. So all I've done is, for as many levels there are in that current map list, delete the floors. So we're using the existing delete floor script. The only reason to not do this is if you have like a huge map, but I don't think this this code is going to be great for a huge map anyway, so just bear that in mind. So we have a new string. We're going to convert that string into list of grids, which we just cleared here. So there should be nothing inside this now, so we don't have to worry about memory leaks. So now we have a list of strings, which is this. It's just literally a list of strings, and for as big as that list is, we're going to we're going to create a new grid. We're going to get the string for this floor from list of grids. Then I'm going to convert that string into our new grid. So now at this point we now have a grid of strings, which is this, and then with that grid of strings we just want to convert those strings into lists. So again here, make a new list, get the string, get the list string from our new grid, convert that list string into a list, which is overwriting this basically, and then save that list pointer to our new grid like that. And after we do that, we want to add our new grid to the level we're on in our list of grids. And then remember, this can happen several times. If we have like 10 levels, this is going to happen 10 times. Every time we make a new grid, we make a list for every cell in that grid, convert the string from that grid into, overwrite that new list with our list string, and then save that list into that grid for that cell. And then at this point, we should have everything converted back from strings into usable grids and lists. And we're going to show a message to say map loaded. And that's it for SCR load. So now if we go back into the step event, so we should have covered all of this stuff by now. So let's minimize that. New map is pretty straightforward. I decided to use Shift. You have to hold down Shift and then press Enter for this to work. I don't know why I did that for this and not for these, because we should probably use Shift roll. But anyway, that's why I'm doing it for now. So again, we are setting current map number to whatever this returns. I just put it onto different lines so you can read it. It can be zoomed in closer like this. And then we're resetting the current level to 0. So let's make a new map. Let's make a new script called SCR new map. And we're passing to it the biome and list of grids. Again, the same code we just did earlier. We're destroying all the grids and lists for our current map list, and then we're using add new floor to just add a first floor to our map, and then we're just returning the size of the biome list that holds the maps, because our new map if we want to save it, we want to save it at the bottom of our biome list, like that. And then if we go back into the step event, delete map. Sorry, this is a pretty long one, this line here. Let me do it on multiple lines again. There we go. Okay, so again, if we hold shift and we press backspace, we're going to return current map number, but using delete map. Again, set the current level to 0. Let's go into SCR delete map. Well, so the reason we're setting current level to 0 in both these cases is we don't know how many levels the map's going to have, so it's just easier to reset everything to 0, like here. So make a new script called SCR delete map, and inside it we have biome, list of grids, and position, which is current map number. We are going to just delete the string from the position of that map. So if it's like position 1, then entry 1 gets deleted from our biome list. At this point, the question is, so do we have another map in the same biome that we want to display, or should we just make a fresh map? So is there another saved map to display? We're going to overwrite pos with the size of the biome. If the size of the biome list is greater than 0, it means there is an existing list. So we're going to decrease pos by 1 because it can't equal the size of the list. And then load the map for that position in here. Otherwise, if pos is 0, it means there is no data, basically. So we're going to make a fresh map here, which we already have a script for this, right? And then return pos, and that should be it for the step event. Hopefully I didn't go too fast for that. Okay, so then let's go into the change biome region, this one here. And then, so when we press T or R, we want to reset the current map number right there. And then previously we were resetting the walls or deco, basically making a new floor, but we can just delete that. We don't need it anymore. We have plenty of scripts to do that for us. And then we have a new region here, which is gonna take care of, you know, what should we be displaying now, basically. Now that we've changed biomes, what should we do? So basically, we're going to grab map data from the first entry of our biome list, whatever biome we're on. If that entry is not undefined, that means we should have a map stored there, which means we're going to use our load map script. If that entry is undefined, then that means there shouldn't be any maps of that biome, and we're just going to make a new one like that. And then the last thing we want to do, just to be able to track what's going on, is we can copy the line we had before for displaying current level and paste it. And change the 20 to a 40, and inside the cursor, inside the comments, I can't think what it says now. Anyway, inside here we want to see current map number and show the string of current map number. So these two lines are new, and by now we can test everything. So I'm gonna just change the color of this one, save it, and then I'm gonna make a new map, increase the size of it, even add some more levels. Let's do yeah, and then like that, save that one. I'm going to make one more map, shift enter, and let's make this like a long one, and let's make it cabbages like that, and save that map. And then if I go to a new biome, pressing T, you see, because there's no map saved for the barn, it's just made me a new one. It doesn't reset the horizontal or vertical pieces though, so I'm going to do that myself now. And then if I choose a different, let's have this one for the barn, and save this one. Let's make one more map. Let's use this, but make it like a longer map, and save it. If I go to the next biome, the city, let's just make this a square like that, save it. If I then go back to the first biome, it should load the first map. If I press P, we can see the maps we made. And keep pressing P, switches between them. If I want to get rid of this big map now and press Shift backspace, you should delete it. Now if I press P, it still cycles between those. If I press O, same thing happens. If I go to the next biome by pressing T, we still have the map that we saved before, and it loads it as well. And if we press P, it switches to the next one. If I delete this first map, Shift backspace, it'll load the remaining map. If I go back to the original biome and then back to, let's switch maps, and then go back to the next biome, it loads that remaining map and there's no more. If I do Shift P, or P is it, sorry. Oops. Oh, so it doesn't, there's no more maps to switch to, so nothing happens. If I go to the next biome, there's the square that we made. If I delete this, there shouldn't be any more maps for this biome. It just gives us a basic one. It looks like it's loaded the same one, so let's do a let's change that, because that's not what happened really. It's just because it's the default. So let's change this to dirt, save it, and then delete it, and then it gives us the default settings, but the size is still the same because we're not resetting the horizontal vertical pieces. That doesn't bother me because it's that easy to, you know, change it back. So hopefully that's okay for you as well. But you should have the same thing as me. You know, test it with multiple levels if you want. Let's do that now actually. So let's add a new level, give it grass, save it, and then make a new map. Go back to the old one. We didn't save it. I thought I did. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, so it did save it. I just wasn't showing all levels. Okay, so watch out for that. If you make a multi-storied map and you switch to it and it's like, okay, well, you know, it's been deleted, just press down and it'll show you the max level like that. So it's still loaded and saved. It's just that we're not displaying every floor. Okay, so thank you for watching. It's been a long one, I know, but it's well worth it because now we can actually use this data to make a battlescape in the next episode, just so you can see what all the hard work is for. Thanks for watching. I will catch you next time. Bye for now.